Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are looking at the retro Cardback Cobra Viper with that card art just glaring of what exactly is happening here. It just looks very strange, and it's clearly like, oh look, it's a trigger finger hand. So in a way, this is refreshing as compared to, you know, art that was generated by humans, because, oh, it's the hand that is on the figure. And also, like, it is. Because, look, this would be contoured to the arm if a human being had made it, but instead it's just plastic. You know, whatever. It is what it is. I do like the digital burst in the background. Nice thick cards on the back. We've got the file card with the multi-language, which is fine. Cross-sell. Look, at this point, if you're clipping and saving or if you want to clip and save these giant file cards, I don't get it. There's so many resources online for this information, and more than what is here. And also 3D Joe's is putting out their new field guides, which you should absolutely be backing. This is just, I don't care if there are file cards on the back or not. Visually, it's like, oh, that's neat, but whatever. At the end of the day, I'm opening these up. And I do want to know, though, is anybody keeping these new retro card backs mint on card? Just because, oh, it's a cool, you know, giant presentation, you know, is there appeal there? There's not for me, but, you know, I have, as I well know, I am not the voice of the toy collecting community. It is not a monolith, and I do not represent it. Oh, I do like that they've at least gone with the color. Oh, wow. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a minute. That's a little nice little thing there. Huh. Okay. I don't know that I realized that gray blaster rifle was in there. I love that the interchangeable hands are in here. Yeah, like at first glance, this was the Viper I wanted in classified. And we'll be doing a little comparison here. As the thumbnail suggested, I've got the other Vipers. Well, the other default. I didn't bring the Crimson Vipers, and I didn't, like, we're not comparing it to all the Vipers. We're just comparing to the Vipers that are, you know, theoretically representing the standard Viper. But as soon as I saw this one, like, as soon as I opened the box, I was like, oh, this is it. I don't think I'm even keeping the others on the shelf. This one's so good. Because I always leave it to last. Here's the battle stand. It's, you know, it's great. I don't use them, but I appreciate when they're included. Gosh, this is such a upgrade. And I want to say, just because a figure, plastic feels good, just because a figure successfully replicates the look of the original does not automatically make it a great figure or a better figure or whatever. And some people may not even be looking for that. But in this instance, my preference is that it more closely resemble the original Viper figure, because I loved that figure. That was the Cobra troop. Like, to me, the Vipers, and that's, the file card does not reflect this, but to me, the Vipers were a step up from the Cobra troopers because they just look cooler. All right, so it took a little doing to get him on the stand. The holes were a little small, but, you know, they, of course, you can stretch them out a little bit, get him on there, so that works. Let's get the accessories off to the side and take a look at a little side-by-side with the aforementioned original Viper. And I gotta say, I mean, they got it this time. This is exactly what I wanted the Viper to look like. Like they did it. Shorter sleeves. Well, we'll do a comparison now. So you can see that's that. Real quick, the backpack, they have chosen, well, it's not bad. I'll say it's fine. But I think I do prefer the older Viper backpack, which just fell right off of the figure, which is not great. Okay, so this is the Cobra Island Viper. As you can see, this backpack is way better than this backpack. Although it does not more closely resemble the original Viper backpack. I would say the other one does, but this is a cooler backpack. Obviously, with all the deco and everything on it. Like, that's great. And I do have to wonder why they didn't just reuse this and not paint it or whatever. I mean, yes, this does more closely resemble the original, but I don't know that it's that much closer. Anyway, so comparison time. First, I want to look at that faceplate because, as you can see, there's kind of a granular look to the Cobra Island Viper's faceplate. This one looks much smoother and more metallic. Well, maybe not more metallic, but this one just has, the paint application is not as satisfying. This has that brushed aluminum look. The reds aren't necessarily that much brighter, but the blue is, wow, look at how, I did not realize how different these were going to be. So my biggest issues, and feel free to go back and watch my reviews of the Cobra Island Viper and the 3-pack Vipers, which I've got over here as well, but it's almost not even worth comparing. So the sleeves, too long on this one. I wanted the short sleeves of the original figure, and this drove me insane. The way that they did, like, why this being here and not continued there, but then it's on the inside, that was just so frustrating to me. Here, we have fixed it. I'll turn it a little bit so it lines up, but you can see that red and pinless and knee pads are located differently. So on the original here, you can see the knee pads are like right above the boot, almost appearing to be part of the boot. Well, they are. I mean, construction-wise, they are part of the boot. I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily what the design was intended to be. I don't know. This is, like I said, this is not a bad figure by any means, the Cobra Island Viper. But this is what I want the Viper to look like. To me, this more closely represents this figure. I do like these boots, though. These are cool. Like, this looks like an updated Viper. You can see, I mean, the paint apps on the helmet. Lots of differences, though. So, vest is completely different. And that belt piece is separate as opposed to this one where this is all just one piece. So the figure had little mobility. Whereas this one, you're going to be able to use that ab crunch and the waist joint. So we have a belt, got a holster in the back, separate vest, nice texture on that vest. I mean, this is, much of this is just a completely new figure. There are no reused parts. Oh, look at that. Even the this piece is different. So from the waist down, no reused parts. I think the helmet, Because even, look at this, even the arm guards are different. They didn't even use that same tooling. I'll never know about the torso, but this is completely new tooling, except for the head, maybe the neck. Although the neck on this one probably has the hinge. I think we were still doing the hinge at that point. Huh. So yeah, this is just an updated Viper, which is what it should have been. I mean, there's some, like I said, this to me is not a design choice. This is an error. The fact that this red ribbing didn't continue down here, that was a mistake. The longer sleeves, you could argue. I prefer the shorter sleeves because it really does have that Viper look. But otherwise, like I'm not saying this is a bad figure at all. And then the 3-pack Viper that is all the same tooling. I took the arm guards off to make it look a little bit different, left the goggles off just to give it a different look. But just drab colors. It's funny. Look at the progression here of the colors. These two really aren't that different. They're not as different as I expected them to be. But this one, way, way different. But, again, all good figures. But I don't need multiple very similar flavors of Viper on my shelf. So let's continue with this one, which is just so much better than I expected it to be. So I had two come in from Pulse. Look at this little flashlight right here. I do wish it was removable. But look at the detail. They actually put the little mirrored face on that. Two from Pulse, one from Amazon, and then a third from Pulse, because I actually do want 4 of these on the shelf, and I'm just going to bag up the other ones. I'm not going to sell them, but I'm going to bag them up because I just don't need that on the shelf in that way. So what else have we got going on here? Wow, this has ended up being a lot more review than I really expected, because this is a new figure. So we've got this. Oh, does that not come out? It looks like it comes out. There we go. Removable magazine. Cool looking piece. I dig it. If it's come with somebody else before, I do not remember off the top of my head. The brown detailing is okay, but to be a Viper, I would have gone with gray. The goggles that do have a finish in the lenses that looks pretty cool. I seem to remember having oh, these pop right on. The fit on these seems to be much better than the other two. I feel like I remember struggling. And look, those goggles make no sense whatsoever, but it's the look. I mean, that's the look. And they seem to be on there pretty nicely, too. Solid. I like that. Okay. This, which is the proper color, but not the proper blaster rifle. What I noticed up here is just the fact that that peg is black is interesting. So, I mean, this looks cool and is what I'll probably put them on the shelf with, but I still want this. And they haven't made it, and it's weird that they haven't, but I've always liked this design a lot. I am okay with the fact that this is a darker gray, that they didn't go with the light gray of the original figure, because I think at this scale that would just be a lot of really light gray and would look odd. There is the hand blaster, again with the little brown detailing there. Got the port for blast effects, and that is going to go right in that holster, which I love. There we go. Nice. That is the original. No, the original does not have a holster like that, but that's a fine addition. And then finally, another thing that I kind of didn't realize was in here, hands. which for a troop builder, like if you're going to give anything multiple hands, let's give our troop builders extra hands. These are all the Cobra Commander hands, I believe. And that's great because being able to give those troop builders different expressions in any way is a good thing. So we've got, obviously, that right hand I'm just going to leave. Oh, I've got some, look at this. I didn't even notice this. Got some blue. I'm fairly certain I'll be able to remove that pretty easily. But it is a little surprising paint slop. There we go. Probably have that. Let's make things easy. Oh, and those forearm guards do pop right off if you so desire. But I mean, with this one, you have the forearms exposed. The sleeves are as short as I prefer them to be. So really not a problem. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I might put that trigger finger hand back on. That might look better. But, oh, let's see how the backpack does. Because the backpacks do not stay in the other ones well at all. But this guy, look at that. Nice long peg. Fits up snug against the body. Could be a little more contour here, but looks pretty good. Pretty good. There we go. The back of the vest does interfere with the helmet a bit. Now you can move it. That's annoying. You can kind of push the head forward and get it situated a little better. But I kind of wish that collar just wasn't there. But I seem to remember that was on the other ones too. Well, he's got a scarf on. Hang on, let me look. Oh no, this one does not have that collar. I mean, I know it's not the same vest, but I thought they had. Somebody has a similar collar situation to this. But it still works because look, there he is. And that is your retro Cardback Cobra Viper. Looks great. This is what I want the figure to look like. I can't imagine a better version of this Viper being released. Thrilled to have it. And, you know, as much as I'm trying not to do the troop building anymore. Having 3 of these on the way, or 3 more of these on the way, is great. I'm very happy to have this guy. So thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. And until next time, Cobra.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.